This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
I'd ask Coach Harper, what it meant to, with the seedings, with them having, 11-2 in conference play, knowing y'all are trying to climb and get a better seeding going to the tournament. How important, what it's like their tone they set in the first quarter on the road. How did that affect the team?
Well, it obviously was a punch that we didn't handle very well. We've been a really fast starting team. And I think compounding effect of when you're used to being a fast starting team and then you're not, that has a jolting effect. We were jolted. It was like, and then we panicked a little bit. I think it was like, hey, the kid we were going to say, let's make her make a couple of threes. She made them the first two shots. I think she was 2 for 22 coming in, made 2 right in a row. So we got a little panicky and we started coming out. Then Rakia Jackson got 5 in a row, or, some things like that. So I think it's why Kelly's team is tested. You look, they've got the hardest schedule in the country. I've said it to anybody that will listen. She did a lot of stuff that was valuable for our league. It's helped our league that she went out and took a team. She's got an Elite 8, Final Four, could win it all. I told her in the handshake line, outside of the butt kicking we took at South Carolina, they're as good as any team we've played. And I think we've played now. I think they're going to be the 10th team that we've played that's going to be in the NCAA tournament, 9th or 10th. And they're as good as anybody. So it was a jolt. I thought we settled in, and then we played better from that point on. But this isn't like volleyball where you can lose the first set 25-9 and everybody clap and reset, and then you go back and try to win the next 3 sets. That first 3 minutes could be the difference. And that was tonight. We never could overcome their start.
And then on top of that, just with their size and length, jumping out to that big of a lead, how much did that factor just trying to mount a comeback and just the shots did not seem to be falling?
Yeah, they bother you on the shots, and then you make them miss, and they rebound it and stick it back, or rebound it again and stick it back. I looked down here, and if you'd have told me we had more points in the paint than they did, I'd have been wrong. I didn't think that would have been possible, but it's demoralizing a little bit. You try to do all the technique things that we talk about and then we teach, and then they get you. They get it and they stick it back in, and they get it and they kick it out, and the kid makes a 3. So there was a point that I thought we could have quit, and we just never really did. And that's the thing we're going to take from it and be proud and carry into it. And again, I think Tennessee is, we said at the beginning of the year, I thought there were 3 teams that clearly established themselves as the top, and they're one of them.
Rakia Jackson has been one of those players in the league that's been making her impact for years now. She's, all but one coach in the league is ready to see her go to the next level, I'm sure. Just what makes her so impactful out on the court?
She's so versatile. You can't guard her one way or with one person a certain way. She's a willing passer too. The second you start, thinking you're going to go double her and make it pass, and then she's kicking it out to those kids for those 3s. She plays with a really high level of IQ. She knows the game. If y'all would have seen her when she was coming out of high school, she's one that my daughter could pick out. I used to use that as my gauge. If my gymnastic cheerleading daughter could go to a game and go, Coach, that kid's really good. She was one that you could pick out, but then she kept getting better too. A lot of kids stay the same. She's not. She's continued to work at her game. And we get calls all the time, from these WNBA people that we know. And she's the one a lot of people are asking about, is that transferable? And I think obviously it is. She's found a spot where she's got teammates that she builds off of. She builds them up. They build her up. And she's been really good in this league.
And then, the first half at South Carolina was kind of similar to this one, but then the second half, it looked like the team just kind of shut down. How, with this important stretch moving forward, was it as a coach to at least see the team? You outscored them in the second half, I believe, to show some fight.
Yeah, no, I thought we showed fight from the first quarter on. I think that allows us to be able to sleep tonight and wake up tomorrow refreshed and ready to go try to get these last 3. We got a tough road stretch at Georgia, at Mississippi State, and then finishing home against A&M. But we are a big picture. We've always talked about the total 30,000-foot view of this. We still know what's ahead of us. We know where we stand. We talk about all those things. So to be regroup tomorrow, keep it in perspective, look around, see what else happens in the rest of the league, see what happens in the rest of the country, and put it all in perspective, and then go to work against the team. Georgia's playing really well right now. They were up a minute ago. It looked like they were going to win another one. So it's always, she plays a really tough defense. I'm not trying to jump ahead to Georgia, but we know we got our hands full down there too.
Tennessee out rebounded you 59-25. Just what can you say about what they're able to do on the glass consistently?
When Kelly came, we all knew it was going to be a matter of time before she reinstilled what she played under. If you don't rebound, you don't play. And that's what she's done. She's recruited kids that's what they do. If they don't do it, she sets them over there on the side until they do it, and they find somebody that does. That's how Tennessee was built. I expected nothing less than that, and she started to really do it. She's got her type of kids in there now. It takes a little time, and it takes a while to build that. Our offset of that is you don't turn it over, which we didn't tonight. We got plenty of shots. We got plenty of good shots. And they credit them for making us miss some, but this is one of those nights when that rebounding number is what it is, and people can say whatever they want about it. But you look at the number of shots. I think they took 80 shots, 69, and they took 90 shots, and we take 85. So that's not that big of a difference in a rebounding number. That's why people want to rebound. They want to rebound so they get more shots. Well, they didn't get 24 more shots than we did because we don't turn it over. We force, 10 more turnovers than we gave up. So that equaled out. But what those do to you, Christina, is go back to what Porter was talking about. They demoralize you. You guard, and we can hear it in the crowd. Yeah. Oh, it's audible. And you think if that's how somebody that didn't practice all day and didn't work at it, if that's how they feel, think how that kid feels. It is demoralizing, and it's hard on your body, and it makes you go, oh, that's just the only reaction you can have. We've got educated fans, so they get it. We would, and I said it to Phil out there. It's one of those things that, if you solve the rebounding issue, now you're going to start turning it over more. Well, you solve the turnover issue, why well, not give that up? It's like the little boy that kept trying to stick his finger in all the different holes in the dikes. It springs a leak someplace else. So, we're not going to all of a sudden be able to out-rebound one of the best rebounding teams in the country. But we did hold our own. It would have been nice to come up with a couple of stops to see what would have happened, because we did play good defense to get them to miss that first one, and then they'd fumble around and it'd end up in their hands, and they'd kick it out for a three, or we'd foul. But it's that compounding, demoralizing effect that when your confidence has been shaken a little bit and you've had that jolt, it weighs on you. So we've got to, and again, I think we still fought. I'm going to do what I did last week to y'all. I think I know what I saw, but I'll have to go home and watch it. But last week we were right. And I still think we had some kids that didn't quit. I'm not sure we had anybody that really quit. We just couldn't get the job done tonight. And that happens against teams that are as good as Tennessee.
And then talked about it already a little bit, but just forecasting to Georgia. It seems like, as a first-year coach, she's carried over the defensive mentality. She's at Central Florida, right?
She was.
Yeah, and it seems like she's carried that right over to Georgia. Just will you talk about that identity of their team?
When you play any Coach Abe team, what you're getting into. She brought half the team with her too, so it's the same people that were at Central Florida doing it there, and they've taught. We saw them. We were in the Virgin Islands with them. We didn't play in the same side, but we saw them. All three games, and they've really bought into how they defend. They grind you out. It's going to be. I bet their game's not in the 50s tonight. Who are they're playing? Kentucky. They play in Kentucky. There you go. It's not going to be a 90 shot night. So you really, really have to value the basketball, which we do a good job of normally. You have to take and you have to make a few more shots, but it's a grind. It's always tough at Stegman. They've made a really good home court advantage down there. And like I said, she's brought a lot of her Central Florida people with her, mixed it in with the kids that stayed. And they're a team right there in the mix with us. We're right there kind of all in that same spot, fighting for those 6, 7, 8, 9 area. I think all of us, we keep hoping for maybe a fifth, but you got to have to win some games now to get to fifth and get some help. I think we're all battling for those last spots in the NCAA tournament. If you look around and you follow it, there's not a lot of teams that have a resume to even be considered around that bubble. And we're one of them with Georgia with Mississippi State. So how'd the Missouri game go? They were beating Alabama. Who are they playing? They're playing Mississippi State. Yeah. So that one, somebody there, we're all in that same kind of boat. But Georgia will be the familiarity with them. I'm glad we played at Central Florida. I'm glad we're not like everybody else the first time seeing that matchup zone. The other funny part was I finally got her to agree for me to come down there and spend about 3 days with her to learn that zone. And then she got the job in our league, and she said, yeah, you're not coming down. So understandable. But she does a great job. They have a good team, and we've got our hands full.
Last thing for me is just essentially looking at ahead of the season. If you do take care of business and win the 3, you've essentially flipped your SEC get from last season. What motivation does that give you and the team? Even though everything y'all have been through this year, you still have a chance to have a better season in the SEC than you did last year.
We still know what's available out there. Our kids understand the historical value of how hard it is to win more than 6 games in this league. There's just a handful of teams in the 33-year history that have done that. So, but we also start to sense those opportunities slipping away. When you look up there and you're setting at 6 and you got 7 or 8 games left, you're like, oh, okay. But now when you get down to just 3 left, that puts a little more pressure on it. So I'll try to alleviate the pressure. None of us function better. No, none of us function under pressure as good as we can when we're relaxed. I will try to make sure that they understand their opportunity. That's all I want them to understand. I just don't want them to look back and regret not being told. Us not saying, well, I wish somebody would have told us that if we'd have done this, that would have been the first time in SEC history, or the first time this, or the best. Mac and Aaron have already won more SEC games than anybody ever. Y'all can go back and do the math. I've done it. Y'all can do it yourself, or I'll share it with you. But those 2 kids are 2 of the in SEC play have won more SEC games than any Razorback ever. So they understand that. They understand how hard it is. But with 3 more opportunities, one of them at home, I hope we can. The crowd was again great tonight for a Thursday night to get almost 3,300. One last time, I don't go on to social media and beg. I know how hard it is to come to games. I know what a challenge it is to get here, but mark your calendar for that Sunday when we play A&M and send. We've only got Chrissy to really send off, and Avery. Avery's meant a lot to our program, and Chrissy in just the 1 year here, and we'll have some managers too. But just one more crowd, come out that Sunday, follow us on the road these next 2, see how we do, and win or lose, come out and support these kids that next Sunday when we play Texas A&M.
BetOnline remains your #1 source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.